Gamer Headlines Show. Gamer Headlines is weekly entertainment podcast. This is episode 30, Flirty and Thriving, and I am one of your co-hosts, 24601, Chris Cortez.
I can't believe you remember that. I was about to call you out on it if you forgot about that.
I gotcha. One more day. And as always, I'm joined by my other co-host, Adnan Riaz.
Can I be 24607?
Dude, you could always be
24607. I've skipped out 6 there.
And welcome, guys, to, of course, the Gamer Headline Show. So, damn, dude, episode 30. Jesus, man, that's crazy. Like, Adam and I, we've been podcasting for, like, what does it do? Like, almost 3 years now, I think?
Ooh, yeah, I think
something.
It would be just...
Yeah, something like that. And we're, like, I think 10 or 11 episodes away from this point of surpassing,
Big Boss.
We've done, like, multiple podcasts in the past, and the highest number we reached was 40. So we're, like, 11 away from surpassing that. That's crazy. Man,
mm-hmm.
I feel like we started this the other day. Like, I can't believe it's 30. But
yeah, I can't believe when I keep looking back on it in October we started. I'm like, crap, like it's been that long, and we've come quite far as well. I mean, if you guys haven't noticed, Podbean put us as one of their featured podcasts for the week.
Yeah.
So a massive thank you to them for putting us up there.
Oh yeah. I'm still beside myself. It's awesome.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we actually got a few more followers, and it's really, really great news. And we also started our YouTube and Daily Motion accounts up. So the future is bright.
Yeah, much like the Phantom Pain's mother base, we're expanding, baby. Except you don't have to wait until September. You could right now just hang out with us. But all right, enough dilly-dally, shilly-shally, Adnan. Let's talk nerdy to me, my friend. What's been going on since last podcast?
Yeah, so we're actually recording a bit earlier this week. We're recording on a Tuesday.
Yep.
So I actually had time to do something in between the cats, actually get something. So I played Neville Never Alone on PS Plus, which was, that game is in itself not brilliant. Great concept, visuals are stunning and everything else, but not a brilliant game. But I'm not going to talk about that because that was not...
I have to say, I commend you for even trying it, because, dude, I went to Metacritic and I was like, ugh.
I just wanted all the trophies.
You're like, free trophies, fuck it.
Dude, I got all the trophies in one sitting when I played it. And it was cool. It's like a tame Limbo.
That's interesting.
So yeah, it wasn't that brilliant, but I did appreciate some things and what it was trying to achieve. But I just think it fell really far flat. The controls are really clunky. But so I'm actually going to focus on another game that I've been playing for the last 3 or 4 days. I've been like jumping in and out of it every few hours. But I've been playing a Guacamole.
Nice.
I think it's a Super Turbo edition on the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines. So actually, yeah, this is the first time playing it. And I'm always kind of picky with indie games. I understand why people really love them, especially in the gameplay department, because that's a huge selling point for most indie games. But yeah, actually kind of digging this a bit more. Story, not really caring about, which is a really bad side for me, because I'm all about the story of a game. Mm-hmm. Gameplay is fun though. I have to hand it to Dickbox Studio. They've hit that straight on, nail on the head. And yeah, it's cool. It's got great ideas. It's fun in execution. I think it's easy to pick up. The controller scheme is just it's so simple. Like when you get on those games and you're like, oh god, I'm gonna have to learn the controller scheme, and some of them are just absolutely ludicrous. Mm-hmm. I was just so easy to pick it up. Also, I think I just call this company Dickbox Studio instead of Drinkbox. I just think I said that.
You were just thinking about Dick in a Box. That's cool.
Yeah, it might be.
It's an old video, but it's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I like where Drinkbox has actually gone with this game, especially with like Luchador and everything else. And it's very, I don't know, it feels when you get that game that moves away from the traditional Western kind of setting and everything else, and you just go into different different styles of comedy and humor and everything else. I think it really does capture great moments. I'm really, really, really digging it at the minute.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I think it was released as a Xbox Live, Games of Gold title. last year, I think, or something like that. And yeah, dude, I dug it. I think I got stuck at like one of the earlier, because it's like a Metroidvania style game, you know, like where you can kind of like you go around and stuff. And I love that genre a lot. And I got stuck at one part though, and I got really frustrated. And I think like something else came out, and I played that, and I never really looked back. So, but I did enjoy what I did play aside from getting stuck. But that was more of like a Chris problem rather than a game problem. So, but yeah, it's good stuff, man. I agree. I think it's definitely a fun game. If you get it for free, you should definitely play it. If you're a PlayStation Plus member, like go for it. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm getting a bit sick and fed up with the indie stuff. I know people like it, but I would love to have one AAA game in between all those indie games. But this is kind of a rare exception where I'm like, you know what, it's actually decent. It's giving me something to fill the gap between now and Arkham Knight or whatever else I buy. So, fun game and kind of like challenging as well. So it's definitely one of those ones you can't miss out on.
Yeah, no, definitely. Arkham Knight, I can't wait for that. Dude, you know, not too much has been going on with me, to be quite honest. It's been a pretty, you know, quiet and disturbingly boring week. But yesterday, at the time of this recording anyway, was the 20th anniversary of the Sega Saturn in North America, the North American release of the Sega Saturn. And I actually didn't pick one up when it came out back in 1995, but I did celebrate the anniversary. I do own a Saturn now. I bought it, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. And it's a great... I was talking to Adnan, actually, a little bit before the podcast, and it's a great console. Like, if you're a retro fan of games and you want to play, like, a lot of older titles from, like, different parts of the world, the Sega Saturn is, like, perfect for it. Because, basically, if you buy this weird cartridge thing, it's an Action Replay Plus cartridge. It says 4-in-1 on it, and basically it's a RAM cart, a cheat cart thing. It bypasses import locks, and it does something else I can't remember. Oh, it's a memory card also. And basically, if you have that plugged into your Saturn, it could play anything from around the world, and you don't have to region mod it or anything. So, yeah, I got, like, there's a lot of games that came out on the Saturn only in Japan that are excellent. Like, X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. I believe they're, like, near arcade perfect on the Sega Saturn, as opposed to their PlayStation counterparts, which I suck ass, to be quite frank. But, yeah, man, I played that, and, you know, I own those, and I kind of, like, played a little bit of that on Monday, and just generally, you know, celebrating the 20th anniversary of Sega Saturn. One thing I will say, though, dude, is, you know, in honor of the celebration, I was also watching, like, old commercials and stuff like that from the Saturn time frame. Dude, it was bizarre. Like, they're so weird. Like, I didn't see any of them when I was a kid. How old was I? I think I was, like, 8 years old when the Saturn came out. I didn't see any of those, but they were so fucking weird. Like, one of them was apparently what the inside of a body is doing when it's playing Saturn, and it was really weird, dude. Like the eyeballs were, like, watching it, and they were like, oh, it's Sega Saturn. Oh, my God. And then, like, you went to, like, the nerve system, and they were like, we are panicking, like, the nerve guy was freaking out, and then the brain is like, oh my God, this sucks, I don't know what's happening. And then, like, his secretary walks in and goes, oh, sir, the sphincter is on line 2. And then it cuts to this guy, and the walls are closing in. He's like, what's going on? Ah! And then it just, like, the logo comes up. I'm like, who the fuck is gonna buy a Saturn after seeing that? You're literally telling people you'll shit your pants playing the Saturn. Like,
I can't say 90s marketing was gaming's forte for excellence.
No,
that period.
It was god awful.
No, they are classed as some of the markings where you watch them, you're like, and then you wonder why people don't take gaming that seriously in marketing terms. And you just, I do have to admit, there's some great ones. I think the Vita, the one that got banned for the Vita with the Doctor. And then also, do you ever remember the Call of Duty Stimulus package one, with the guy saying everyone's doing it?
No, I don't remember that one.
There's an old guy who keeps saying like everyone's doing it. He's like kind of getting legend that it's the same as like the Dr. Vita one where it's the sexual innuendos that get in there,
right?
And they kind of banned it. So they've never really mastered marking on TV. So no, I actually think there was a great one for The Last of Us that they did, a 30-second TV spot where it shows the guy aging in the apartment, and it kind of changes from a normal house to a post-apocalyptic one. But yeah, marking for Saturn, I can't say it was that brilliant. Sega's system.
No.
You know, but it's a classic though. I mean, that and the SNES, you know, really did hit the stride of the console war in the 90s.
Well, I think the Genesis more, because like Saturn was.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think Sega Saturn didn't really compete with the SNES one.
No,
level.
Dude, like Saturn was. I mean, if I recall correctly, of the three major systems, PlayStation, N64, and Saturn, it sold the worst. And I mean, they even like there's so much. It's like that's like another podcast in itself. But essentially, like Saturn was. It's a great collector's item if you're a retro gamer, but at the time, it probably wasn't the best system to buy in North America. Only because like Sega was really stupid at that time. It was doing a lot of restrictions, and so many great games did come out on it in America, but like so many games did not come out in America. Like I mentioned earlier with Street Fighter and stuff like that. And then there is one last thing I wanted to mention was the one last thing I saw on it was this promotional video, and it's I don't know how to describe it, dude. It begins with this bald girl that has a ring around her head as if she's like a Saturn, like the planet Saturn, and she's like, "You're about to watch some content from the Sega Saturn. Tune in." Like I forgot what she says, but it's really weird, and you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then it cuts to a close up of this like bald guy who's painted like white, but like silvery white, and he has like a soul patch, and you're like, they painted his soul patch white too, and he's just like talking to you, and he's like, the Sega Saturn is the greatest thing ever made, and you're like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever made, and he's like, look at our games, and it was so fucking weird, dude, and that was like their promotional video. It was bizarre.
As I said, 90s wasn't the best for gaming.
I kept telling my wife, if I was stoned out of my mind right now, I think I would be losing my mind, because it looks like if you're on hallucinogenic drugs, you'd jump out a window. I mean, it was really creepy. It was
that could have been an ad for Sega Saturn as well. Someone getting high and jumping out that window.
Like, that's how extreme they are.
Well, too real for life.
Like the number 2, though. Yeah, too real for life.
Yeah.
And real spelled REEL, like a film reel. No doubt.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's walking dumb.
Yeah, it was. But anyway, if you guys have a Sega Saturn, I happy 20th anniversary for the North Americans, and I would definitely recommend you guys to pick one up. They're relatively cheap. I think I got mine, and I spent $80 or $50 or something, and it came with an extra controller and a free game. So, and all the cables and shit to connect it. So it's a fun system, and the games
cheap and nifty system.
Yeah, and the games are relatively easy to find, except for like some of them, which like Panzer Dragoon Saga costs like $500. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm gonna cut myself off because, like I said, I could literally go on for like an hour.